Hello everybody, welcome back to Third Act. Yes. Thursday. Happy Valentine's Day. Wait, this comes out the week after Valentine's Day. Hello everybody, welcome back to Third Act. Yes, happy Thursday. It is another Thursday in this beautiful February. We are getting close to so many other events and I'm having a mental breakdown. I want to give a shout out to Dario Coronado because he is the provider for all this beautiful music that you hear in the background of us talking.
And in the opening.
So, huge shout out to Dario.
We'll put like his social media stuff here, like his Twitter here, so you guys can follow him. He's amazing. He's an amazing musician, super talented, and he was so graciously. He has so graciously allowed us to use his music for our videos, so that we do not get copyrighted. Thank you.
Amazing. Today we are talking about Robert Villa High School's Hunchback of Notre Dame. This has been such an incredible production that I went to go see twice. I've been obsessed with this musical since I saw this production, so I have a lot to say about this.
So we checked, and starting next week, I will be part of the review because after today, I would have seen all the shows coming up. All right, so let's get into it because I know you're both excited to talk about it, and yeah, all right, here we go. So let's talk about tech first. So, do we want to talk about set? How was your set? I saw pictures of it, but how was it like experiencing it live?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful. I love that set so much.
They had the stained glass, right?
Yes, they made it. They have a
They
picture. They have a picture of one of the students making it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, piece by piece. Those are gels, light gels.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful. The curtains opened and it was like they had a fog machine on in the back. So it looked like ominous, but it was very pretty. It was very pretty. As soon as the curtains opened, you were basically immersed.
Wow. How did they, I don't know, well this falls under tech, right? How did they do the gargoyles?
The gargoyles, they were more, it was more their costume than anything else. It wasn't like they had masks or anything like that. It was mainly their costumes. They did a lot of painting on their faces, which I love because you can see a lot more of their facial reactions. I love that. And the statues were just, they were just in costume, and they would freeze whenever they needed to. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I actually really like the way that they did that. I like that they didn't use masks.
Yeah.
Because we did see like reaction, genuine reaction in their faces.
Yeah. Let's talk about lights for a sec. I know that lights are like a big thing in this show. Especially with that stained glass window. It
was fantastic. I loved the lights in the show. Like, because they hit, you know what it was? They had a lot of moments where if the music hit a certain note or like the start of a song was, like they hit the mark. There was a part in Topsy Turvy when they all say together, the Feast of Fools, and the lights went from like really ominous to a party. Like in an instant. And they also did a lot of dancing. Like as soon as that light hit, they hit a dance move, and it was like phenomenal. I like that a lot.
I think they were my favorite light designs of the season. Actually, they might have been my favorite light design of the season. It was very it looked very professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very professional, and that's one of the first things we talked about as soon as we walked out. Was the lighting.
How were the costumes? Were the costumes, because I know, like I said, I've only seen one production of this, but the production I did see, the costumes were very colorful, especially during the Feast of Fools. How did that play in with like the whole, how did that complement the set actually? I'll ask it like that. Because sometimes they'll try to have like a neutral looking set in the back so that the costumes stand out even more, but sometimes they add even more so that it's just like, whoa, like this burst of color. How did that?
Okay, so the set was mainly gray, right? From what I remember. Yeah. It's mainly gray with the exception of the stained glass. And for me, for this show, that works. Okay, so Villa had a variation of outfits
so
on
like
stage. It looked real. Like it looked real.
Yeah. I like that.
And
the attention to detail is beautiful.
The colors were beautiful.
The color used specifically in Haley's costume.
Oh, yes.
Because they were all wearing vibrant colors, but for some weird reason, Haley's costume made her stand out.
Yeah.
Like, over everybody, and it's hard to do.
But you know what it was? It was the overlapping of the textures and the type of fabric.
I really wish I could have seen this show because I heard so many good things about it afterwards. But I was just... scheduling was a big thing for me. Alright, so, we normally don't talk about this one, but I think it's safe to assume that we can. So, let's talk about the choreo for a sec. Because I know that was something that both of you guys talked about after you saw the show. And I don't know, like, if one of you wants to start with that, because you guys literally could not stop talking about it, so I think we should bring that up right now.
That choreography was outstanding because it wasn't presentational, it was storytelling. And it was so detailed, and I loved it. It had its funny moments, and it had its serious moments, and it had a variation of very beautiful movements. And everyone in the ensemble was like on point. They looked like they were moving very much in sync.
It was very authentic. That's the only word to describe it. From going there, I think I know what it was that set it apart from, I think, all their other shows. And with this one, the choreo was not difficult choreo. Like, it was not mind-bending. Nobody needed to have an insane amount of flexibility to do a certain move, at least not the entire way through. So the ensemble was extremely strong because they were so in sync. And so whatever happened, I mean, I have no idea, I wasn't there this year, right? But whatever happened this round, the choreographer had to have looked at what he or she had and said, okay, like, this is what I need to give these kids. This is what they're gonna execute the best, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
Because it was like there was no weak link at all in any of the dance numbers. And when specifically the females danced together, the gypsies, they took the stage. They took the stage. It was a phenomenal show just based off of the dancing.
Let's do some vocals. Let's talk about vocals. Now, this score is leaves me speechless.
A dream for me because of the harmonies.
Yeah, it's so intricate with harmonies and with all the other stuff that, like, there needs to be like a tight group. Like, there needs to be that unification of an ensemble. So the fact that the ensemble was on point, that gives me like joy, because then I feel like that would mean that it flowed into their vocal work. Would you say that's true? Like,
I was when I saw that they were doing Hunchback, I was a little scared because of that. But then I found out that Mr. Ravens and Miss Perales were helping from the choir department.
Okay.
And when I found that out, I was like, oh no, go for it.
Yeah.
Because it very much is a choral sounding musical, and the kids executed it perfectly.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the musicals to use your choir in, because it does have that choral sound, and I think like any school that does this musical should at least consider using their choir, because even if it's just in the back, because that would elevate the music so much.
Yeah, as an ensemble, vocally they were extremely strong. I mean, there was rarely a note that I was like, but as an ensemble, I mean, almost no notes stuck up at all.
Yeah, this ensemble was one of the strongest that I've seen this season.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's what we said about them last year.
Oh yeah. But
I remember.
Karina wasn't here because she was being reviewed in that video.
By the way, for the 1% that doesn't know, Karina is a product of Robertville High School. Look at her thriving now.
Look, Chicago. Okay, moving on. In the realm of performance elements, let's talk about acting. Were there any standouts either in the ensemble or in the principals that stood out to you?
All right, give me like an hour so I can talk about Daniel real quick. Daniel?
Neither.
Yes, I know.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew his last name.
Okay, I'm just like, you know? He as soon as he came out, you know, okay, let me go back. What was
tears.
What was he?
Tears.
Let's start off with the fact that yes, I cried a lot. Everyone heard me sobbing. Yes, I'm sure backstage they heard me sobbing too.
I heard you.
They're like, oh, Daniela's here again.
Yes. Okay. Daniel, acting wise, was very strong for me. He really embodied the soft, kind person that Quasimodo is, and not like very naive. It was absolutely stunning. That's why at the beginning of the show I was just so immersed in the character development that Daniel gave Quasimodo throughout the show. It was absolutely stunning, and I saw him after the show, and I feel bad thinking about it now because he's probably like, what's wrong with this girl? But he came up to me and he was just like nodding his head, and I started crying. Like, I looked at him and I just started crying. I'm sorry. It was just amazing. I liked his performance a lot.
You know, I actually, with Daniel, I have a lot to say about this. I worked with him for the years that I was there, I think 3 years. Hello? Yeah, 3 years. And he always played, past tense, the cop-out comic. You know what I mean? And I always knew, I was like, that's not fair and that's not right. And so seeing him in this show was very, like, heartwarming for me, because he finally got to do, like, what he was made to do.
Yeah.
You know? And for me, it was really touching to see that, because I think, in Daniel's position, kind of similar, like, to mine, you know what I mean? He was always stuck in kind of a corner. But the second that he was let out of it, I mean, the kid blossomed on that stage. It was really nice to see him.
Yeah, I think it's really cool when we see kids like that. Like, you see them like at the beginning of their high school career, and they play like the little side character that's like supposed to be really funny, and then like, you know, like they get you the laughs in the middle of the show, you know, right? And then switch the next year, they're like the most serious role ever, and it's just so magnificent to see like how crafty they are, like how they can just like kind of switch it and like make you see them in a different way. I think that's beautiful.
And I hope moving forward he gets more serious roles, because he has the comedy part down. There's no doubt about it. And it takes a very strong person to do that. But I want to see a softer side of him later on. Like maybe even at one act, or even he's graduating, right? At a college show. I would want to see him a lot more serious. His singing has improved. We saw him last year in the cabaret, and he sang Hamilton's song, You'll Be Back. But it was great. It was great. And then in this one, he was amazing. He was holding notes for 10-15 seconds, like, no problem. Like,
wow.
Let me talk about one more person before she goes on a tangent. Our sweet little boy.
He's gonna know just from that.
Sweet little boy, Gonzalo, my little elephant. I loved seeing him in the show. It was just so fresh. It was just wonderful, and you can see his growth as an actor, as a performer, as a singer. He took my breath away in this performance. I love Gonzalo so much. It was just wonderful. I loved it a lot. Go ahead.
All right. Last but not least,
you're gonna be the Javi of Chicago last year. Go ahead. I'll just shut up and I'll zone out for a little bit.
Okay, so
I think you're wonderful, by the way, Haley. Go ahead.
Haley. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, but I've seen this movie. I saw the movie maybe twice when I was like 10. So I really didn't know the story. I really didn't know the characters. So my first interpretation of Esmeralda was Haley. Really. You know what I mean? The one that stuck in my head. So as soon as she walked on the stage, I don't even think she walked on this. Like, I saw her shadow, and I was like, bruh.
As soon as she flew in.
She just arrived. Somehow she arrived.
He comes down from the flight.
No, and I didn't know. I looked at my mom and I was like, because her presence was so strong. It was so strong. I didn't know how to function, and knowing her personally and then seeing it, like, that was just night and day. Like, it was night and day. When it comes to Haley, she was like Esmeralda. Her version of Esmeralda was like tough around the edges. I mean, she was very like strong. But then when I saw Daniela, her name was right. Daniela, she was much like, there was a angst to her, but she was also very innocent. So it was a different version. And so I had to reevaluate, like, okay, what did I see? What's the difference? You know what I mean? And so with Haley, I felt like she kind of found ways to like insert Velma Kelly into her performance, and I think that's where that confidence came from. And in this specific performance, it was like the perfect like mutant. You know what I mean? And it was wonderful on that stage. She looked phenomenal, and she sounded phenomenal, and she danced phenomenal, and she acted.
And that's one thing that I do like about acting in general, is that you can go off of characters that you've played before and kind of like pull in little pieces from each one to kind of create a new one. And I think that's so like, it's so mind-boggling to me. Like when I first started like, you know, acting and stuff like that, when I found out that you could do that, and there was ways that you could kind of mask it so that it wasn't exactly like the same character you played before, but it's kind of like a new approach to it. Haley does do that. I've noticed that in a lot of her performances, she like pulls from either other characters she's played or characters that we've seen on stage somewhere else, or you know, even people that we know. Like I think it's really cool how she can like just put them all together.
Yeah, but going on more of a rant about Haley, it's not even like that she's pulling from different characters, but I think she allows Haley is her art. Like Haley is her art. If I've known anybody who is theater, she is theater, you know? And so when it comes to her, she allows not for like her to identify the character, but for the character to identify her. And so that's why that happens, because in every single one of her performances, she allows something to be taught to her, and so it carries. And that, like, her confidence is what I'm referencing when I say Velma Kelly, and that's what she learned from Velma Kelly, and that's what she applied in this show. So it was just, she was very convicting on stage. She was convicting. I mean, you felt for her the entire show, and you wanted to be there for her the entire show, but you also know you didn't have to.
All right, so we're gonna start with favorite song, and we're gonna let Karina go first since she's our guest. So what was your favorite song from the show?
So I'm not gonna go on a tangent. I'm just gonna period.
Line.
God help the Outcast. Yeah. She came out and I was like, God help me.
Me.
Yo, honestly.
Oh my God.
She was phenomenal.
You know, I think I was already tired, but she came out and tears immediately. And I think she's another one, just like Daniel. This show was very different from anything I've ever seen from her before. She was phenomenal.
I saw a clip of it on Twitter and I saved it.
If you guys have a recording of it, if you guys seriously have a recording of it, my email is, my phone number is
Stop. I hate you.
What was your favorite song?
You're like a PR nightmare. Like, for real.
All right, my favorite song is The Bells of Notre Dame. As an ensemble, it was absolutely fantastic. It threw everything at me. Like, the curtains opened and it was beautiful, like beautiful pictures. Like, they gave me such beautiful images and I cannot let go of that. Like, in my head, as soon as the curtains opened and I saw that set, I saw the lighting, I saw the costumes, I was so in awe. Like, I cannot.
A weird note about that song in particular, it was a testament that every single person in the ensemble could sing, because no matter who stepped out into the light, there were some kids I have never heard sing before in my entire life, and I was there for 4 years, and they would step out into the light and they would sing, and I was like, y'all heard that? Like, what character are they? And then I realized they're ensemble. I was like, wow, like, doesn't even, you know?
That
phenomenal.
Ensemble was
specifically
fantastic.
AD.
That
you came out, I was like,
Who? is your diamond?
Do you want to say it? I say it? Kyler Nunez. He was, oh my god, I loved him in everything, every single time he came out. And he was, I want to say he was like in 80% of the freaking show. Like, he was in every scene. He was dancing with the girls. Like, it was fantastic.
You know what's weird? My dad, when he saw Chicago, he was like, who's that kid? Like, who's that kid? He's the kid who stuck out to my dad. Okay, you know who my dad is. My dad falls asleep, like, during everything. Okay? But he talked about Kyler. Like, went on a tangent the way you go on tangents about Kyler. I just remembered right now.
He was fantastic. Yeah. Like, his light is on the whole show. Like, and he played multiple characters. So he had to have been on something because it was just so good. I could not take my eyes off of him. It was fantastic. He's an incredible performer, and he should keep doing this forever.
Is he a senior this year or a junior?
He's a junior. Freshman. Oh, dude, is he a sophomore?
Because I remember he was in the interview when we interviewed him.
I think he's a sophomore.
And I can't remember if he told me he was a freshman last year or
he was a freshman. He was a freshman. He's a
That's
sophomore.
insane.
I think he's a sophomore. Sorry if I'm wrong, but I think he's a sophomore.
He's fantastic. He's an incredible. It's so hard to be an ensemble member that stands out like that.
Immediately.
It's so hard.
And consistently.
Yes.
And without taking away from the scene.
Absolutely.
That's very, very, very hard. And we've talked about that in videos before. All right, guys, I think we've come to the end of the video. And that's it, right? To conclude today's video, I mean, this was based on what I've heard right now and what they've told me before. I mean, this show was phenomenal, and I'm super excited to see, you know, what happens going forward. Palm Awards nominations come out this month. Fun fact. 2 weeks, yeah, I think so. So we're super excited about that. All right, I think we pretty much said it all. Tears. We all just start crying. That's how it ends.
I just start crying. What is this?
And then
Don't take my brand.
A zoom in.
I'm always crying.
All right. So that's all we have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Next week, we will be reviewing Frozen from PSJA North. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited about that one. Also, if you're watching this video, today is opening night for Matilda at Lopez High School in Brownsville. So if you're in the area or want to take a little road trip, go ahead and check that out. They open tonight with a show today and tomorrow at 7 p.m. And then Saturday, their final performance will be at 3 p.m. And we will be attending that one. Thankfully, we have a day off from rehearsal, so we will be able to go see that. But if you guys can, go check it out. It should be really fun. This is our first time seeing a show at a Brownsville High School, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully we'll be able to see more as the years go on. Also opening tonight is Cyrano at STC at the Cooper Center. They run through Sunday, so they have performances today, Friday, and Saturday at 7:30. And their matinee on Sunday will be at 2 o'clock. So go check that out too. You can purchase tickets online, I believe. Yeah. If not, you can also go ahead and call their box office. We'll hopefully have all that information in a post, hopefully, you know, in the days before this video goes out. All right, so thank you so much for watching the video once again. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Period.
I wheezed.
I have it on camera.